You okay?
Live from New York. It's a show that's very serious.
Brew is locked in today.
You're in trouble.
He reviewed the tape yesterday, saw he got worked over 7 of 8 segments, and now he's coming to go.
First things first. Today.
I hesitate to say anyone's lying, but this doesn't track. None of this tracks. So what we are to believe from Aaron Rodgers is that he was 90% retired. He has reiterated that. And then did the darkness retreat, came out and decided, okay, not retiring, and I want to be a Packer.
Yeah.
That was the other thing.
Yeah, but
I want to be a Packer. The reason it doesn't track is what we know. Aaron's thoughts and wants and desires, you just got to take his word for it, or you can not believe him. But what we know is, a year ago, people were like, oh, he might go to the Broncos. He might demand a trade. Instead, he got, and what he seemingly wanted, was a brand new contract. For a player that a year ago was even contemplating retirement, brand new contract would be the least important thing. Mm-hmm. In fact, he might want to go in the other direction of, don't worry about my contract. Let's get Devontae locked up for another year. Don't trade him because I might be retiring. Also, we know after this past season that just ended, he was very difficult to get a hold of for the Packers.
That's a service
and
thing.
didn't
But
really
nobody
see
can get him at his house.
Okay, yeah.
FaceTime.
But also
everybody knows that.
But they said that he talked about how LaFleur or Gutekunst, came to the West Coast and was trying to make time, but they didn't make time. Also, we know that in January, the Jets hired Nat Hackett, January 28th, darkness retreat, all of that. And we know from Rodgers' own admission, he and Hackett are incredibly close. Mm-hmm. And so to me, what this feels like is Rodgers trying to, again, make football fans believe the reason I'm not a Packer is because the Packers screwed it up. The Packers didn't want me. I think Rodgers deeply believes, as he should, I'm going to be awesome this year. The team's going to be awesome this year. And it will further stick it to the Packers that you guys screwed it up. You could have had me. I don't think Aaron Rodgers was ever retiring. I just don't. And listen, I've tried to be very fair, and I know I wouldn't like if someone was on TV basically saying I'm lying. So if he's bothered by that, that's fine. But it's just my opinion. I don't think he was ever thought he was retired.
Well, first of all, he is on the record as lying on television. He told us he was immunized.
Well, it was.
Yeah, he used a different semantics, but you know what I'm saying. So he's got to own that, and if people accuse him of lying again, he's got to wear it. All right, but I agree with you. It doesn't track because if you were 90% retired, and then he told Peter King that he was going to play for the Packers, and he comes out and finds out they don't want him. I mean, there was a lot there to make you, if you were 90% sure, to maybe push you over the edge, especially coming off your your worst year of your career. All right, you didn't even make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You're in an organization you didn't really like and enjoy and want to play for. Now, one thing I will say is maybe the Packers' treatment of him when he comes out and he finds out they've been shopping him and all that stuff. Maybe that. He's a guy that's motivated by slights. He's motivated. He loves having a chip on his shoulder. Maybe that woke him up. And why else would he love the Jets so much? Like, he loves the Jets.
Well, but I think for the reasons that you like the Jets a lot.
Well, he loves the Jets, though, now I get. But his first press conference. Now, did he look at the roster and say, Garrett Wilson, wow, great defense? Nat Hackett's there, maybe,
Wildes, I understand it's circumstantial evidence, but the Jets stayed out of any Lamar Jackson discussions. They were very tepid in any Derek Carr stuff. We all knew they had to have a quarterback. They stayed away from the Jimmy Garoppolo stuff. They hire his favorite coach ever. It feels like as early as February, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets was a train moving down the tracks. Mm-hmm. It is very difficult for me to believe that it was just a happy coincidence because Aaron Rodgers was going to retire and then, was not going to retire, 90% retired him, not, I'll just go back with the Packers, everything will be fine. Oh, but you guys are shopping. I I just don't buy it. I think this was a train that had been in
strange.
motion for a while.
Also discussed his $35 million pay cut, saying, quote, I thought it was important they knew how committed I was. And in my conversations with Joe Douglas, he has made it very clear the vision for the football team. Big names move at the trade deadline now. I wanted to make sure that if somebody valuable came available, that we'd be able to get him. I'm very happy with the contract. Brew, do you think Aaron has proven how committed he is?
You know where I'm at on
And
this.
you love him now.
He's all in. He
to
is
a few
completely in. He gave up $35 million, Wildes.
true. That's true.
No
Big
one in
deal.
the history of American sports has done that.
Maybe America in general.
Right. I mean,
35?
it's
No.
on a maybe. On a maybe. And
What do you
maybe
mean?
somebody will become available at the trade deadline. He gave up $35 million on a maybe. Now, look, I thought all of the talk about the lonely trophy and how grateful he is to be a Jet, I thought it was all poppycock. All right? But
Go ahead, nothing. You're just an old man sometimes.
What?
Poppycock.
But anyway, poppycock was the perfect word.
Oh,
for
you're
that.
right.
That's
You know
what
what?
I
You
thought
are
it
a
was.
wordsmith. Go ahead.
But I believe him now. I totally believe him. I mean, he is. You give up that much money, and he's got reason to because the team could be really good.
So before I even get to the Aaron Rodgers thing, Wildes, do you realize what's happened to our dear Broussard?
He's all in on the Jets?
Brews Nets have become Brews Jets. As the Nets have disintegrated.
Because they rhyme, Seth, really? Because it
and
rhymes.
because you need a New York adjacent team to attack. I just feel like that's what's happening. I
You're
feel
in
like
on the
we are
Jets.
seeing.
He's trying to push me to
feel
pick them to win it all.
And with,
That's what
no,
he's doing.
I don't have to push you anywhere.
That's
It
what he's
seems like
doing.
you really love this team. Here's the thing. I am going to be very consistent. I do think Aaron has handled this offseason A+. I thought he did a great job with the press conference. He backed it up by showing up to the OTAs. He backed it up by ingratiating himself with his teammates, giving the money back. Maybe its impact is being overstated, but maybe it's not. Maybe they do get an excellent player because of it, but it's certainly a selfless thing, and it certainly could help the team and can't hurt the team. So I buy all of that. Unfortunately, and now just to go back, let's say I believed Aaron Rodgers about being 90% retired. Well, then by his own timeline, he is a very fickle person about his career at this point. He can go from almost retired to unretired to a Packer to a Jet. So if right now, this moment, he says, I want to be here for multiple years.
Oh, the multiple years thing is.
Because that's what I think this is talking about. He's obviously all in on this season, but he has, over the last few weeks, up to and including today,
right.
he has made it clear that he's like, yeah, things can happen, injuries can happen, but they gave up a lot for me. This not to just be a one-year thing. I think that can change very quickly. I think if this year goes poorly, if he gets banged around as much as I think you believe he will because of the offensive line issues and the strength of the front sevens within that division in particular, I am not at all certain he's the Jets quarterback next year. But I do think he has been a great Jet, like in his very brief tenure, and done the right thing.
I think he intends on being their quarterback for at least 2 years.
Yes.
And if it goes badly, like let's say he's just washed, like we saw last year, and he's even worse, they may not even want him back for another year.
They're going to want him back.
If he's that bad,
don't have
if
it.
he's that bad,
What
they
are they
win
gonna do?
8 games.
Oh, the 8 games be their best season in a decade.
Yeah.
They would
It'll be
100%
one
want
more
him
than
back.
they won with Zach Wilson and Mike White.
Guys moved at the trade deadline last year. Calvin Ridley, Kadarius Toney, your guy. McCaffrey got moved. Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn. Do you think there's any issue, since he was talking specifically about the trade deadline, getting a guy? Do you think that guy, if you're Joe Douglas, has to be an offensive guy?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's what he was implying, and I don't think that's what I think it was just to help the team. And that is where I will give Aaron credit in that I do think his objectives are aligned exactly with the team right now for the first time probably in a long time of his career,
Buckle up.
where he does truly just want to win and he does want to have the best pieces around on both sides of the ball. I buy that entirely. I just don't think they're good enough. I don't think he's good enough anymore. I don't think the roster's good enough. I don't think the head coach is good enough in order for these things to happen. But I don't think he's being phony about this at all.
Wow.
What?
I'm just amazed. I'm amazed that you think Aaron Rodgers is all in and they're not going to be very good.
Yeah, he's
I get you. I think inside you do think they're going to be good. You don't want to have the Patriots be last in the division.
I don't think they're going to be good.
Really? Yeah. You think the Patriots are going to be better than them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
But go ahead.
I just think you're sticking to your guns, and I like that.
No, they've got a great defense. Again, we beat them twice last year, and then but they got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they got
Bailey Zappi took Aaron Rodgers to overtime in Lambeau. Well, it is what it is.
Zappi's a good player.
Zappy's excellent.
Zappy's a good player.
He's a great player. Let's take a look at MVP odds. All quarterbacks up there. One Prince, excuse me.
Yeah, thank you.
Rodgers coming in at 8. Huge goatee.
Really?
Just massive.
You're right about that.
All right, so Brew, this would be his 5th MVP. Would tie him with Peyton for the record. Could you see this happening?
Well, look, you guys know when it comes to dark horse MVPs, I'm excellent at
You're unparalleled.
Jameis Winston was not alive before he got hurt.
No.
He was 5-2.
No,
14 touchdowns, 3 picks.
No, okay.
He was
ahead.
alive, and
Go
they
ahead.
were winning.
Go ahead.
Good pick.
Dark horse is the right
Came
word.
back from that injury.
Now, I'm not saying
Dalton
he's
over him, but go ahead.
not a favorite.
No.
By any stretch. But dark horse, absolutely.
Why?
One, the team could be very good. If he's not washed, if he's 85% of the player he was 2 years ago, 90% of that player, they got a good chance, I'd say, to win the division. We'll see if I pick them, but I'm saying they have a chance. The defense is solid. You got a great receiver in Garrett Wilson, and I think a nice receiving core overall, good running backs. Yeah. And here's the thing, Nick, and you've talked about this, the narrative is absolutely delicious. I mean, comeback year, all right, comeback year, from a down year, goes to a new team, goes to a team that hasn't made the playoff in a dozen years, a team that hasn't won the division in 20 years, and if he led them to a division title, I mean, the storyline is right there for him if he does have a bounce back year, I think he could have a shot.
Go ahead, Wildes. You literally raised your hand. So
I think I convinced you.
No, you didn't, but go ahead.
Can I just jump it? You are not picking the Jets to win the AFC East.
He might.
Can I just say something?
Right now, I'm not there.
Bro, we've worked together for 3 years. I've known you for 15 years, maybe. You are picking the Bills.
Okay. Well,
I'm 100% positive.
Okay, I'm
100%
positive. Your recent track record of 100% positivity is not great.
I'm 100% positive. You're not nice.
Once again, now you're 0 for 3. So here's the thing. I think America is set how good Rodgers will be aside for a moment. I think America, led by Chris Broussard, is wildly overrating the Jets' offensive talent. Wildly. So let's just go through it. We all agree the offensive line could be a major problem. We all agree.
You basically stop your argument there.
No. But hold on. We all liked Breece Hall, who right now is not even on track to be able to play week 1. He's on the PUP list. He's a running back who was a rookie last year coming off an ACL. The tight end position is not one of their strengths at all. So then it gets to the receivers. Let's talk about the receivers. Their number 3 receiver, McCole Hardman, didn't have 300 yards last year, has never in his career had a 700-yard season. Never once. I like the guy. He's a chief. He's a champion. He made a great catch for us in the playoff game when he got hurt. But he is not some type of dynamic. He's a playmaker, but he's not a consistent playmaker. Their number 2, Allen Lazard, has had more than 550 yards one season ever, has always had great quarterbacks because he's always had Aaron Rodgers, has never had 800 yards. Oh, Nick, what about Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson is good. Is Garrett Wilson one of the 10 best number 1 receivers in the league? I don't know. I can show you a blind reveal for Garrett Wilson against a player that, let's just show it. Do we agree, guys, that these two players have shockingly similar numbers except for touchdowns? Do we agree, Brew?
Yes.
Okay. That is, reveal it please, Garrett Wilson and Christian Kirk. Nobody is out here saying Christian Kirk is a great receiver. Nobody is saying that.
You walked right into it. You said it on the T for me.
Okay, go ahead. What did I say?
Christian Kirk had the Prince throwing to him.
That's fine.
Who did Garrett Wilson have throwing to him?
And
Guys
that's
that
the
aren't
problem.
even close to the Prince.
So let's go to rookie receivers last year who had Andy Dalton and Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota throwing to him. Is Chris Olave? Are we sure Garrett Wilson's better than Chris Olave?
Well, Olave is a talented receiver.
Yes, that's the point. There's talented receivers all over the league. Here's my question.
He's better than Christian Kirk. Garrett Wilson.
I agree with that.
Okay.
But no one in the AFC for pass because the Jets' offensive strength is going to have to be their pass catchers, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do they have a better receiving core than Miami? Of course not. No. Cincinnati, no chance. The Chargers, no way. Right? So now we're at 3. The Raiders, no. The Jags, now that they've added Ridley with Kirk already there, I would say
we don't know what Ridley's going to be. He's been 2 years.
I think Ridley's going to be good, but you're right. We'll see. Buffalo with Diggs and the tight end that I know you love that they drafted, and Dawson Knox. Now we're at 6. What about the Chiefs, who have Travis Kelce as a pass catcher?
Yeah, he's good.
So my point is they are average at their best thing.
I wouldn't say average.
I just listed 7 teams, Brew. There's only 16 or 15, 16 in the conference.
They're
in the AFC.
I say they're with some of those lesser teams that you mentioned, like the 6, 7.
Yeah, that's okay.
But if the defense is that good, they can win games 17-14, and Aaron Rodgers can stack wins with 208 passing yards. That's my fear. See, Christina, I'm nice.
If Aaron Rodgers, like I said, if he's close to what he was 2 years ago, why can't they win?
Because guys other than Tom Brady don't get way older or approach 40, be injured, change teams, and have a resurgence at this position in this league.
He is an all-time great.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not just a guy that was pretty good.
I got it. Okay, listen, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
I don't either. So there you go.
You don't want to buy it.
But I don't. He hasn't thrown for 300 yards in 23 games.
Wildes, you had an opportunity. I know you don't yell at Brew the way you yell at me, but he kind of questioned your integrity there. When he
I'm
said,
just saying,
when he
no,
said,
I'm just saying,
you don't actually
you are
believe
such a
this.
Patriots fan.
See, there you go.
The Jets could be 7-1, and you will still be saying
if they're 7-1. I will respect the Jets.
See,
but if they're 1-7, am I allowed to say, you know what?
If they're 1-7, yeah.
He's questioning.
For the record, also a Chiefs fan.
I wouldn't.
Coming up next, Bill Belichick.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.